Yeah, the Architectural Review Board of the Town of Southampton now come to order. Welcome to the May 20th, 2025 meeting. Ms. Doyle, the ARB attorney, would you read the legal regulations for our hybrid meeting?
Yes. Good morning. Today's meeting is hybrid. That means it's being held both in person at Town Hall and by a video conference. On the town website, there is a town clerk's meetings portal. That is where you can watch the live stream video, submit written comments for the public record, and you can also join the Zoom meeting. If anyone is attending via Zoom and would like to speak, then you will need to alert our moderator by clicking the raise hand icon or type in the chat box that you would like to speak on a particular application. If you're here in person to present, please come up to the table when your application is called. If you're here for public comment, please wait until the chair opens the floor for public comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Doyle. Would everyone rise, please? And Mr. Rump, the Vice Chair, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Certainly, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rump.
Very welcome, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Jankowski, the Board Secretary, please perform the roll call and notify us if we have a quorum.
Mr. Wright? Present. Mr. Taglavia? Here. Ms. Keys is absent. Mr. Burke? Myself, Mr. Rumpf?
Here.
And Mr. Sherrier. We have a
Here.
quorum.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jankowski. Did the board members that were present review the minutes of the May 6th, 2025 meeting, and were there any errors or omissions? None?
I wasn't here for that one. Picking
Okay.
up my son.
So then how many do we have four. Wait a minute, 1, 2, 3, yes, four. So therefore, we can vote on it. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make said motion.
I'll
Do I hear a
second.
Thank you. Motion has been made seconded to approve the May 6, 2025 meeting minutes. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Thank you. Any old business to come before the board before we start on the published agenda? If none, then we'll start with the agenda. The first item on the agenda is Classy Canine, 375 County Road 39, Tuckahoe. Is the applicant available?
I have them on Zoom.
Okay, thank you.
I think that's the site plan right there.
That is, okay.
Want me to get it?
Yeah,
Just
wait a
look
minute.
at it.
I could-
We do have it up on the screen now.
Oh, good. Mr. Rump is the lead board member on this application, and would you give the board your review and comments after the applicant does the presentation? Would you please list your name and your association with this project? I don't think he can hear us.
That helps.
Can you hear us?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can
Yes.
hear you now. Yeah, would you please
Yes.
list your name and how you're related to this application?
Sure. My name is William Grigo. I am an attorney and I represent Dutch Pedals, or Classy Canine, as you called it. We're here for a legalization of a garage door that was placed installed without permits.
Okay, Mr. Rump.
I don't have any issues, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, fine. Mr. Jankowski?
I don't have any issues.
We don't, okay. Mr. Burke, comments?
No comments.
Mr. Taglivia?
No comments.
And Mr. Wright? No comments. And I'm going with the lead on this. I don't have any comments either. Any comments from the public? Any Zoom comments?
No one on Zoom.
Okay, thank you. Okay. There are no comments. Do I hear a motion to approve as submitted?
I'll make that motion to approve as submitted.
I'll second.
Your motion has been made and seconded to approve as submitted. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Thank you. It's approved.
Thank you.
Right, thank you. Next, we have a substantial residential, 228 Surfside Drive in Bridgehampton. And the applicant is coming up, and I'm the lead board member on this application, so I'll give the board my comments on this.
Hi,
Hi.
Sal
would you-
Iannone for the applicant, architect.
Scott Garrison for the builder.
Okay. One of the questions I do have is where you want to go through it, through the design, and
Not really, I mean, you can ask whatever questions you'd like.
okay. All right, how much, because I'm familiar with this area, quite familiar, what type of screening do you have?
There's a privet hedge around the entire property. It's
Gonna-
probably, what, 8, 10 foot tall?
Yeah. And
We
it's
have
gonna
to
be-
have this on the record, so,
understand.
and that's going to stay in perpetuity.
It's actually gonna be a privet hedge, I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's gonna be a privet hedge put inside of the privet hedge on the property even more. So it's gonna be a
They're gonna
double
thicken
privet.
it, double row it.
A double
privet.
row, and how high was the other?
I believe that's 8 feet,
8 feet, and then another
12 foot on the
12
outside.
foot, fine. Okay, because of that, I don't have any issues with this, because it's, from what I gather, it's going to be screened from all the neighbors.
Right.
Except
It
for the
is.
driveway.
Yep, the driveway's being moved over a little bit, but, yep.
Right, I mean, but that's still gonna, yeah,
Is there a site plan that we can look at?
yes, he had it up there. Wait a minute, there was a site,
Page 1 of the set.
yeah,
This is all I have, the elevation too.
you do, you don't have the, I think I saw it earlier, I saw it online.
Oh, I probably didn't submit it to this board. I submitted it to the building department.
You don't have one with you?
I didn't bring a complete set. And I just brought the elevation.
Oh, because, yeah, we need to see
Is there
a
a-
site plan, so.
Kelly, can you just pull up the aerial of the site for us?
Yeah, you can see the privet and everything. So the driveway you see coming off of 228, it's going to be moved to the left to the corner. And then we're going to have a drive-through. We're going to have an exit onto the side street.
Okay, so
It's a
that
new entrance added.
Right.
house is coming down?
No, it's, the house is existing. We're going to
Okay.
renovate it in
Yeah, it's being renovated.
entirety.
All right,
New windows,
that's-
new
I don't
roof.
know this, so I'm just asking you a question, so.
We're keeping the pool, the green, the cabana. Just adding a new driveway. We're going to take the driveway, move it over, and they want an in and out driveway.
Okay, yeah, because I have no issues with it, the screening. Okay, Mr. Rump, comments?
I have no issues, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Mr. Jankowski?
So Sal, the driveway's going like behind that, the green, just basically following the perimeter?
It's gonna, the one you see entering off the street.
Yep.
It's gonna come up, it's gonna go across the front now. They're gonna keep the one to the left because the garage is in the back.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So you're going that way. That's why the
And we're
green
gonna
stuff
go
is saying.
across the
Yeah,
front,
yeah, I got you.
drop off, and then continue out and go out the side.
Okay. Yeah, all right. I'm going with the lead then. I got no issues.
Okay. All right, Mr. Burke, comments? No comments. Okay, Mr. Jankowski?
I did mine already.
I mean, yeah, that's right. Mr. Tagliavia?
Could you just for the record confirm the exterior materials that you're using for the siding and the roofing?
I brought a sample of it right here.
That's the siding. Roofing's a standing seam roof. And then this will be the patio stone.
Okay. I have no issues.
Yeah, most of those are,
They're littered up and down the.
yeah, you're right,
already,
they're all
so
over
we're not
into that
changing
area,
the,
so.
We'll look at all.
Okay.
No
so
issues, no
comments. All
further
right.
comments.
Mr. Wright, comments? Okay, and you've got my comments. Is there any comments from the public? If there are none, Kevin, are there any comments on Zoom?
No one on Zoom.
Okay, thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve as submitted?
I'll make that motion to approve as submitted.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve as submitted. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. It's approved. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
You do realize that the privets have to stay now,
Yeah, they will.
or anything happens to them, you have to redo them.
The client wants them. So
Yeah,
don't think
I
that's-
assumed he
it's not
would.
gonna be an issue at all. Thank you again.
Right. Okay, next is 53 Narrow Lane, 53 Narrow Lane Watermill. And since Ms. Keys is out, Mr. Tagliavia, you want to take this?
Sure thing, Mr. Chairman.
Is the applicant available for
Yeah, I'm bringing them
53
in on
Narrow
Zoom.
Lane?
Okay. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good morning,
And
yes.
would you state your name and
Sure.
association with the project?
Hi, my name is Mike Hill from Studio 3H. I'm the architect for 53 Narrow Lane, and I'll be walking you through the design here. And we also have on Zoom available Daniel Sponzili, owner and landscape construction.
Okay.
So is it okay if I share? We were notified of this just maybe late last week. So should I just give a quick overview of the exterior, or was this were there specific questions already?
Yes, I mean, yeah, an overview of the project.
Okay. So it's a single-family residential with attached three-car garage. We have a full landscape plan, but this is just helpful in orienting the entire property. There's an existing barn on the property as well, of around 4,000 square feet, which we're removing part of in order to be within the overall lot coverage and the rear yard lot coverage for the property, and also a proposed tennis court kind of hidden back in the corner. The front of the, I'm going to jump to the front of the home here. Okay, so the entire home, for the most part, is clad in Alaskan yellow cedar shingles, both the roof and most of the walls. That will be naturally aged over time, no painting or staining on that. And then we have all of the trim is also Alaskan yellow cedar, plank, or in a few end walls that will be AYC, also in tongue and groove. The windows are set back slightly. This home was intended to be a bit more transitional. So there's some clean lines, but also traditional materials, and also the windows. We have some of the divided lights or STL bars. All of the window frames they're not black. They're more of a softer charcoal, to be a little less of that bold contrast. And then a stucco on the chimneys. Would you like to, it might be better to discuss the house first, and then I guess the one other thing I would mention from a design perspective is, yes, it is a larger footprint. It's a big house, but what we have done here is broken up the volumes of the home and shifted some of the directions, so it started to kind of bring down the scale a little bit, and also the roof lines are starting just above the second floor. So you don't have any of these very prominent two-story walls before you get to the roof.
Would you mind sharing the landscape plan and site plan with us, please?
Sure. This is a very developed landscape plan. There's a lot of information on here. But so as you can see here, the entry to the site is pushed down towards the sort of the narrow portion of the triangle. It's sort of a triangle site, so that when you arrive, you have a really nice gentle arrival at the home, and there will be privet all along this edge, and then a lot of additional planting separating the neighbors.
Okay, I don't see any issue with the design. I think it's fitting for a watermill. There's a lot of transitional homes in the area. I think it's going to be screened well, and the combination of the Alaskan yellow and the stucco is right aligned with the materials that are seen and consistent in the area.
And that concludes your comments, Mr. Tagliavia?
Yes, quickly, one other, the barn itself, do you have an existing image and a plan on what you're proposing for the finishes compared to what is there now?
Yes. Sorry, the plan for this as it stands is right now the way we have sort of filed for this permit is primarily for the home, and just simply simply adjusting the. I'm sorry. I think Dan, would you be able to let Danny join this as well? Do you see him on there?
I don't see a Danny, but there's someone else with their hand up.
Oh, that's an office computer line. That's him.
Bringing him in.
Put your audio on, Danny.
Okay. Yeah.
We can hear you.
Okay, good.
Do you have something you wanted to add there, or
No, they were talking about the landscape. I thought that they might have a question I was going to answer.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So, yes, just give me 1 second.
That's a good photo.
Yeah. So the plan here is to simply replace all of the exterior materials on this with matching to match the home, and add on just on the end here, replace these doors as well.
Do you have elevations of that in the proposed plan set?
We do not, because we were planning to. There's still some discussion on what may be happening on the inside and how much will be finished. And the plan was to approach this with a separate permit.
Okay, so until then, this will be issued separately, and we won't comment on the barn until we see the full set issued to the building department.
Correct. Yeah, just to clarify there, what we're filing for is the house.
Right.
Only at this stage.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. So I have no additional comments.
No comments on that. Okay, fine. Mr. Rump, comments on that?
I'd just like to go back to the landscape plan if we could, Mike.
Sure. Yeah, let me know if there's anything you'd like me to zoom in on. I see there's a lot on here.
One of the comments, I noticed that there are a lot of evergreens kind of shown throughout the site. Are they being moved to the periphery?
There's a few old hollies. We're going to be moving those. Yes.
Okay. And it seemed like the on the west corner or the south or the western property line was fairly open. Is that going to be additionally screened?
Yeah, there's the whole entire, the idea of the landscape is just to encapsulate the whole property. So, you know, the privet will be 7-8 foot on the front. There's already an existing privet. I don't know if that's north or on the left side of the screen, there's a massive privet hedge that runs all the way down. Behind the property is a forest, and we're going to fence that, and we're going to probably arborvitae that all the way from the one property side of the property all the way to the other, and then in the corner of the property, all the way where the triangle meets, there's some really large old firs and spruces that we're going to keep actually. So, you know, I don't think you're going to see inside the property ever.
Okay. That's all. That's the only questions I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Jankowski?
Additional.
Nothing additional. Okay. Mr. Burke?
No comments further.
Mr. Taglia? Oh,
No further comments.
you did it. So, all right, Mr. Wright?
No further
And
comments.
I'm going with the lead. I have no comments. And the comments from the board. Any comments from the public on this application?
No one on Zoom.
No one on Zoom. Thank you, Kevin. Okay. If none, do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion to approve as submitted.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve as submitted. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Okay. Okay, it's approved.
Thank you all very much for your
For
time.
the residents, the barn will have to be submitted separately.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Good luck.
Okay, next on the agenda is 400 Main Street, Quiog. Will the application and applicants come up?
You got me. Cool. Got you.
He's a landscaper. Yeah, New Zealand. Yeah, we've done a couple of things. He's out of New Jersey.
Good morning, Eric Bregman, 10 Gingerbread Lane in East Hampton for the applicant.
And you're the attorney for this project, okay. Would you present it, please?
Yes.
And Mr. Jankowski is the lead on this.
Morning. And the owner is here, and Mr. Dunn, who's the engineer architect, is also here, if you have any questions for either of them. So last time we were here, the issue was, we had some questions about the site plan, and there was an old driveway shown. So we've simplified that. That's on the first page of what you have. The only thing that is, I think it's pretty straightforward. Obviously, if you have any questions, right where it says in the shaded area garage, GFL 7.32, the existing foundation was put in the wrong place. So that's going to go away, and the garage will be where it's shown in the all white, which meets the setback. Whatever reasons, as the foundation was poured, it was in the wrong place. It didn't meet the setback. And just to remind you, I'm sure you'll remember, there was a building permit issued for this, and people were working on.
Can I correct you on that? Excuse me. The building permit, it was not a building permit, it was a demolition permit. It was issued on this. So there was no building permit.
That's not my understanding, but we're here, so.
Well, Yeah, I mean, we were provided with the permit that was issued by the building inspector, and that was for a demolition on this. So,
Okay, well, I was not involved in that, so I haven't.
right, but that was, yeah, I just, because this is actually live, and that's why I'm correcting
Okay,
on this.
sure.
So it has to be in the record.
Thank you.
Right.
Okay, so we've gotten rid of vestiges of the old driveway that came in from Linden Lane. You can see in the next two up here, that's the looking from Linden Lane to the house, as it's now proposed. And the next one is from a higher view. And there was a third one which was submitted. Do you have the third one?
Yeah, the separate one, this one?
Yes, that one, and that's the one from Main Street. So I have extra copies. That was not in the original package. I have extra copies if anybody wants them.
Yeah. Do you have any notes? I don't have any.
No, we got an email to
Wasn't
us
in
this
the-
morning,
yeah.
so we might as well just take one of these.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. Because I wasn't on.
Thank you.
Well, you'll have your chance after he's doing the presentation now, and then the board comments, and then you'll have a chance. Right.
So these renderings show the pitched roof, which you wanted. And the last time we were here, we discussed the finishings and the exterior wood and the roof. We said we'll do shingles if you wish and asphalt if you wish. And the board said, no, you tell us what you want, right? And so what the developer would like to do is the metal roof that you, just like the ones you just approved. I have a sample. This is a sample of it.
Right.
And this is the sample of the siding, cedar siding, natural. That would be vertical.
Mhm.
If you want to do shingles and asphalt, we'll do it, but these are the most expensive and according to the most durable and best finishes. That's why I chose them. But we're open to other suggestions. And then you have the elevations that show the roofs and in terms of screening, the entire property is now surrounded by arborvitae. They've been there for about a year. They're about 7 feet tall and they'll grow.
Okay, does that conclude your
Yes,
presentation?
and obviously, if you have any questions.
Well,
just
we're
answering
going
them.
through,
Sure.
yes.
Just-
So Mr. Jankowski, he is the lead for this area, and he will.
I'm sorry, we missed you last time.
Not a problem. Yeah, I had to go pick up my son from college.
Oh, good. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it was a good thing. All right, so good morning. And then, so our board doesn't design, you know what I mean? So like when you say, you know, that what you wanted or whatnot, we make comments and then you do the designs. Whether we like it or not, then that's basically how we answer it. So it's not, we don't design. So I see, you know, we, at least the drawings are a little bit more clear. So I appreciate that. So that we can kind of really get an idea of what we're discussing. I just think the other thing that we probably should add, so it's on the record regarding the permit, was yes, you do have a permit that's issued now, but it was issued after work had already started. Okay, so I just want to make sure that everybody's aware of that.
And I understand there's a stop work order and they stopped.
There were 6 of them.
That's
6 stop work orders.
I'm just saying at least the idea of
Right.
that. All right, so did you have a chance, and the whole group have a chance to read? It was basically its comments from the historical board. It was emailed to us. We use them as a reference regarding projects and whatnot around our towns.
Well, here's a copy of it. You can have my copy.
So they write a recommendation, and it kind of goes about, again, the historical area that we're dealing with and your project, where it's kind of in and amongst the hamlet. So with that, using that even as a guide, the design of the house does not fit the area of which it's in. And I know you said, you know, the roofing is the same as what we just saw from a couple other projects, but those projects are in different places. So it's not apples to apples, as you can understand that, right? The other thing I want to see more, which I don't, is a landscape plan, because I know you say you have 7-foot, Timmy, what are those?
The arborvitae.
Arborvitaes?
Said arborvitae, I can't tell from the.
I can't tell from
I can't either, but I just, so I'm kind of saying the right thing. That's
Green
not.
giant is the term that.
Okay, all right, green giants or whatnot, but, yeah.
Is that right, Tim? Is it-
Those
Green
are
giants was
arborvitaes,
right.
yes.
Green giants, yes.
Yeah, I don't think the screening is sufficient enough, what you have right now, and we cannot wait whether it takes 10 years for that to grow in. So my comments would be is, if we are going to allow this, the screening has to be, I would say, a minimum so that you cannot see the housing from either the main street or Linden Lane. And it's kind of like the way we did it to the neighbor almost essentially across the street from you to the south, just as you cross over the Turkey Bridge. You can't see that house from the roadway. And you couldn't see it right from when that project was completed.
Right.
So other than, again, a redesign coming from them, it doesn't fit. Those are the comments. The screening needs to be more sufficient. Those are my comments that I have for right now.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Jankowski. Mr. Rump, comments?
Well, I'm just a little confused with the renderings that were presented, Mr. Bregman. I just, if you go to the west view looking east at the structures, and then you go to the aerial view, it shows larger deciduous trees along Linden Lane that are not depicted in the first rendering. So I'm wondering what that means.
Those are trees that they are there, my understanding is that they are there.
Okay.
They're in the town property.
Right, but I, they're not shown in that first rendering.
That's true, partly that's so that you can see the house, but
Well,
they are there.
okay, well, I think you want to make things as realistic
Okay.
as you should. I mean, it might help your case a little bit if they're helping to screen the structure, as Mr. Jankowski said. So, and yeah, the only other thing is that typically we're asking.
Well, actually, I think if you compare the aerial that has these guys,
Yeah.
right, And the first one, if you orient from the,
Right.
you can, here it is.
But that's the second one, Eric. Yeah, that's the second one.
Well,
If you
here's
look at where that gate is, and
Right.
you wouldn't see that southwest corner of the house,
Nice.
okay?
So-
Based on, my experience. It does show the two small, deciduous trees up against the house, So,
I think it was left out so you could see the house, but
I'm just, making sure that things are correct, that's all. All right.
Okay, I'm just going to interrupt you for a second. Look, if you're worried about seeing the house, you can always draw, or the architect can draw an outline
of the tree.
of the tree, so you'll still see the house, but we'll know there's a tree there.
Okay, got it.
And then
Okay.
just going along with what Mr. Jankowski says, I think the idea is, to offer some additional, heftier screening along both roadways. I understand, having worked for developers before, about wanting people to see the house, but in this instance, I think it's, if the current architecture stays the same, and based on our landmarks comments we've gotten, I think the bulking up the screening would be advantageous both along Main Street and Linden Lane.
Okay.
Mr. Runt, that concludes your comments?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Excuse me. Mr. Burke, comments?
Thanks. Yeah, I would definitely second Ed's comments and Tim's comments about the screening. My issue with the project, I think that I can't seem to shake, is just the horizontal shaping of the windows. And I do think that contrasts with other homes in the area. I was wondering, I would prefer to see a way to maybe space that out with some vertical windows, especially maybe on that top floor. And those are my only comments.
Okay, fine. Mr.
I-
Tagliavia?
I'm sorry.
Did you want to comment to Joe before I?
Oh, sorry, I didn't.
Should I respond to Mr. Burke or wait?
Yeah, you can. Respond to Mr. Burke first.
Let me explain what the thinking was
Yeah.
behind it, at least as expressed to me by the designers.
Sure.
Main Street is quite busy with cars and traffic. And the concept here was to have the windows up high to let light in, but not to be particularly looking at the street. Now, this may all be moved if there's more screening anyway.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But that cuts both ways. If you're screened, it doesn't have any effect on passers-by the neighborhood if it's screened, which is the same thing. So the windows shouldn't be that much of a problem or an issue if it's that screened. But that's what the thinking was and why they are higher.
Understood.
To let it in. I know this is not your core concern, but when they did have the permit, they've bought the windows. And it's a lot of money.
It's not our concern. I'm going to stop you right
Excuse me,
there.
Mr. Burke, which permit did they have it when they bought the windows? The demo? Was it demo permit?
No, the one that was issued.
Prior issue. Just curious.
So, I mean, that was all legit, but, so they're sitting there for what it's worth. But that was the thinking behind it was not haphazard.
Right.
That was the concept of why the windows are the way they are.
Understood.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, Mr. Burke, that concludes
Yes,
your
thank
comment.
you.
Mr. Tagliavia?
So there's a few things within the historical comments that were provided that I just wanted to highlight. Joe touched on one with the vertical windows. There's a second about some softening elements on the elevations, which could potentially, if designed architecturally, complement the windows, make them appear to be taller, but maybe not require purchasing of new units. Maybe there's some kind of panel detail or something under the windows that doesn't allow visibility, but it softens the elevations. I think a lot of the contention is they're very block-like masses facing the street. The side of the building is essentially facing the street instead of the front elevation like all other homes in the area, which I know orientation.
Which street, right?
Right. Well, I don't actually see.
The front of the building, the front entrance is facing Linden.
Right, but there's no vehicular access off that, is there?
Sure. If you
There's
look at
two
the front,
cuts.
here's this is Main Street, right? Well, if
Right,
you look
there's
at the
no-
front,
But this here on this rendering is Main Street, correct?
No, that's Linden.
No, that's Main
No,
Street.
this is
Oh,
Main
that-
Street.
well, no, that's Main, yes.
Right, so they're
Sorry,
showing
sorry.
a curb cut on Main Street in the renderings, but there's not, in fact, a curb cut on Main Street proposed, correct?
yes, here it is, on the site plan.
So then on Linden,
But the front entrance, the driveway leads towards on the side. This is the driveway parking.
the entry is off the side of the house. Okay, so just with the comments, their comments are stating that, the side elevation of the home, which is not as aesthetically pleasing, doesn't have any softening elements to allow this to match more into the historical nature of the neighborhood.
Okay.
I think that could be achieved a little in a way that might appease, not only the public, but also this board. The horizontal windows are very contemporary, and I think they're the major point of contention here. The pitched roofs definitely help. It looks more of like a contemporary barn instead of a flat roofed modern structure, but there's still some elements missing that I think will help. Without softening, without majorly impacting the overall design. There's also some discrepancies between the plans and the renderings about number of windows on the second floor, which should be addressed. The elevations and the renderings show off Main Street 2 windows and 3 on the masses, but the plans only show 1 and, I'm sorry, they show 2 and 2 on the second floor, but the plans show 1 and 3 on the second floor plans. So we just want to make sure that all of the documents match when submitted. So if you go to your second floor plan,
Yeah, you're on it, right there.
it's the last page in your package. Keep going. One more. Just watch the microphone. So
Should use the small.
I think you just passed it.
Yeah, it's the elevation facing Main Street.
Yeah, look at the floor plan though. No, I'm sorry. Go to the floor plan and I'll show you on this rendering. Second floor plan. Right there. So if you look at the bottom elevation, which is facing Main Street, the second floor on the right side shows 3 windows. The rendering only shows 2. And on the left side, it shows 1 window. The rendering shows 2. So to highlight and just to summarize my comments, I think we should be sympathetic and understanding of the historical context and implement some softening elements on the elevations that are going to be visible from the street, and then also maintaining consistency between the renderings and the drawings.
Chaglavia, that concludes your comments?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Wright, comments?
Yeah, most of my comments are echoed through the board. I agree with everything. 2 major issues that are concerning to me at the present moment. One is I take very seriously the referral from historics. And 2, again, as per my last comments, last 2 meetings, I feel every time I don't exactly know what I'm looking at, because every time you come forth, it's something doesn't match. And I just really need to get a strong grasp of actually what is going to be there. Those are my comments, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Wright. And I'll wait till you finish writing, and then I'll make it. No, when you finish. So, oh, when you did finish. Okay. Okay. All right. My comments are most of the ones echoed by the board. We requested landmarks and historical districts to write this report, which I wish you would have had it before the meeting, because maybe you wouldn't have been in the meeting. Because I'm echoing a lot of what Mr. Wright's comments were too, that we're always having this, the renderings don't match the elevations. And there's other discrepancies in there. My comments also are the horizontal windows are they're more of a modern type, and you won't find them anywhere in the neighborhood. Now, these are all awning windows, I assume.
You mean they open this way?
Yes,
That's
they're
my
awning
understanding.
windows.
My understanding is that.
Right. Yeah,
Yes.
they're awning windows. Okay. Which when opened, it's going to look like definitely not in keeping with the rest of the neighborhood. I have problems with the elevations. They actually, I'll just be very general in the comments, because as what Mr. Jankowski mentioned, we are not here to design it for you, even though some of us are architects, engineers, and landscape architects. We can suggest, but the decision is up to you. The elevation facing Main Street, to me, the design is very harsh.
That's the one that just recently.
It's this one right here. Very harsh, where the rest of the houses within the neighborhood present, and this is where Mr. Tagliavia said, a softer appearance. Now, I was the one, residents across Main Street that had the high screening. I was the one that reviewed that and requested it because it didn't fit with the rest of the neighborhood. And the owner in the design completely complied with it. And that's why, like Mr. Jankowski said, you don't see the house because it wouldn't work with the rest of the neighborhood. And since this is part of a historic district of the town, it's not landmark, but it's a historic district. We don't want to
Sorry, it's a historic
create-
hamlet resource area.
What?
Sorry, just to correct it, it's a hamlet heritage resource area.
Right.
Not an actual historic district.
Yeah,
Those are two separate.
not historic, but yes. Thank you. We should comply with that, with the feeling of the neighborhood. Because our duty on this board, or one of the things we do, is that we allow almost anything to be built as long as it doesn't devalue the neighborhood or invade others' sense of privacy.
Right.
This house, the way it is designed, I think it would devalue the neighborhood because it's like a disjuncture within it. And that's why a lot of times we ask for screening as high as I did on the across the street, but screening isn't always the answer too. You can block it off and that becomes a blight in a way too. The metal roof, we have nothing like that around. in this area. We did approve in this meeting today a metal roof, but that was in my area, which is in Bridgehampton, which you heard metal roofs are prevalent within the area. And that's why it sort of fits there. It doesn't in this neighborhood. Okay, and that's my comments on this. And before we get to the,
Just
yes.
in I don't know if it's self-defense or
Yes.
whatever, but I did try to make clear last time that the owners was perfectly happy to have asphalt roof and cedar
Right.
shingles, right? And tell us what you prefer, and
Well,
we'll do
we,
it. And I understand you don't want to tell us what you prefer, but I put the question to you: what do you think would work for you?
what would work for us? All right, if I start redesigning this, I'm just going to give you an example, and this has happened before. If I sit here and start redesigning on this particular elevation,
Right.
what I think, in my interpretation of what it would fit in the neighborhood,
Right.
okay, you can always come back to me and sue me. That's why we can't dictate a design.
I understand that, but we were further. All I'm saying is, I put it to you, which do you think works better? And you said, we're not going to tell you, you choose. And then we choose, and you say, well, we want to go back
Well,
to
look,
what you offered. That's not fair.
unfortunately,
But it's okay.
okay,
We're still willing to do the shingles, and we're still willing to do the
Okay.
roof. So it's a non-issue, but I just want to say, I
Okay.
tried to avoid that issue.
part of the problem is you didn't read this because apparently you didn't get it, the report, and it was most of what the members on this board agree with,
I understand.
so.
Mr. Chairman, if you don't
Yes.
mind, I don't think it's an issue with the materials as much because natural cedar siding, western red siding could fit the neighborhood. I think it's more the aesthetic and the design. You could still achieve the materiality of this, but it's just the overall design and the intrusiveness of the front elevation. There is natural cedar in the neighborhood, but it's just the overall aesthetic that is making it appear to be more obtrusive. So whether you're doing shingles or vertical siding here, I think you're getting the same result and the same comments.
That's fine, and that's fine. I mean, I was just trying to get past that.
Right.
So what I take away from this are two main things. One is, assuming he wants to pursue it, the softening up the Main Street elevation so that it's not as, in your terms, harsh. All right. And at the same time, beefing up the screening so that the house is mostly screened. I mean, it wouldn't go up 25 feet, but it would be mostly screened.
Okay, let me see if anyone's on Zoom. Kevin, is anyone on Zoom?
I think there are people here.
No one on Zoom.
Okay, thank you. All right. Is there any public comments? Anyone from the public wish to comment on this? Okay.
I have
And
someone.
if you'd come in one at a time, state your name and
Jay Scanzaroli,
and where you live.
11 Linden Lane. And I think when I speak for, I guess, the Linden 11 plus, because there's a whole bunch of folks that we've all talked to. And in no particular order, I don't understand the gate that's facing Linden and its purpose. And this also goes to the screening question, because if the gate's there and there's nothing screening, we're going to see it. Also, on the north side of the property and on the east side of the property, there's no screening, as I understand it. Yet, when you come down Linden, you do see that frame, and from the east resident looking west, he'll see the frame. Width of the driveway, on the north part of the driveway. I assume that that is within the boundaries of the property? Yeah,
Yeah, can I stop you?
Sure.
The width of the driveway must be a minimum of 14 feet.
got it.
And that's for emergency
I'm not talking about
vehicles.
the apron.
What?
I'm not talking about the apron. I know that's 14.
Yes.
And by the way, there was an apron or a driveway in the old property. I'm not sure if that's relevant to the questions that were coming
You mean
up.
on Main?
On Main,
Yeah.
yeah, there was an apron on Main. That was the driveway that the residents were using. But when you go to the north end, I just want to make sure that it's considered that whatever driveway is created back there by where the garage is, that it is restricted to the property line of the 400 Main Street. I don't know if we can help at all, but I would think metal roof is problematic for us as the neighbors of the property. The windows are a problem for us. The cedar siding on the property would make more sense to us. I have one other question dealing with grading of the property itself, and I'm not sure where that comes into play. But if the property is, as I understand it, is graded down toward Linden or Maine or east or north, that whatever runoff comes from that property needs to be retained within the property. But that's probably not the ARB's issue.
Wait for a second. Mr. Rump, could you comment on this?
On
What he talks about the runoff? and the grading?
There's a lot of debris on the property, which is right on the corner of Linden and Maine, which everybody sees when they go by it. That debris should be removed, especially as we enter the season and we have guests and we have people visiting, and it's been there from the original demolition of the property. I'm not an expert on grading, but what I thought was if you grade a property down away from the building itself, at certain levels, a water runoff could create a problem because we are in a flood zone. And I believe that there's a requirement that at a certain level of grading, any water runoff needs to be retained within the property itself with dry wells and such. That's all I have.
If I could just refer to that last piece. My understanding is it's not just a certain level of grading, it's just whatever you develop, runoff has to be contained on the property. And that is
great. Okay.
And so I believe the engineering department, along with the building department, will address that issue, and they will require roof drains, leaders, gutters, and drainage for the driveway.
Right.
So I think the engineering and the building department will be taking a look at that.
Final, just to repeat, no matter how high you grow stuff,
right,
it's going to be an eyesore. And if you have a gate on Linden, when people go in and out of Linden Lane, view of that property is going to be apparent. And I don't know if there's a need for that gate. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone else from the public that wishes to speak?
I have someone on Zoom.
Yeah. Oh, I think we have somebody. Yeah, just one at a time. Thank you.
I wasn't going to stand today. I stood the last two times.
Right.
First time I came.
Well, would you give your name again?
Oh, sorry, Brian Mahoney.
Yeah. And
I'm the neighbor opposite on Linden Lane from the subject property.
Right.
First time I came, all I heard, I met my neighbors over this, so thank you. And all I hear is, oh my gosh, I love Quiog. Quiog's great. And strangers that know I live there, like, I just love Quiog. And I keep hearing how much everyone loves Quiog. And I left the first meeting, all we need is love. All you need is love. It's very simple. But why I wasn't going to stand, for many reasons, but I want to help you. I was the chairman of the Architectural Review Board in the Village of Shoreham. It's a tough position because you can't say, just do this, do this, do this. People pull me aside and say, what do you want? I can't tell you. So I'm here to help you. You mentioned softening. Cedar shakes are a hell of a lot softer than that stuff.
Yeah.
cedar roof or asphalt roof is a lot softer than the metal roof. So the board is saying, screaming, we need softening, so soften it. Those are your answers. The fenestration and the windows, they're just not in keeping with Quiog. And that's what when you cross the Turkey Bridge, there's that beautiful historic hamlet sign. It's just so easy to follow what the board is asking. You just got to use your head. The rendering doesn't match the site plan. There's a gate shown on one of the renderings. It doesn't show up on the site plan. The other thing that is really important to the Linden Lane, the Linden 11, we have an LA of 100-year-old linden trees, and it's beautiful. The arborvitae hedge that's been placed is not on the property. It needs to go back to the property line. It's at least 8.5 feet forward, along with the electric meter panel. So that needs to be corrected, especially for the LA. So we don't want, we're in the business of hiding all these homes. It's a shame. I'd rather make the home beautiful so you don't have to hide it. But as far as the green giant arborvitae hedge, it's going to eat the LA of our precious lindens alive. So good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, is there anyone?
My name is Kenneth Stoller. I live at 414 Main Street. So I'm the house east of it. So this building has been, I'm right next door to it. I was away in Florida, but I did see your video and go through, see what went on. I was there when they put up all their trees and everything. First of all, the trees are installed improperly. They're right on the concrete. They're going to crack the concrete. There is no, last time I heard there was an entrance on Main Street. There's no entrance at all. You have dying trees. You have one big mess. I came home. I cannot believe the soot, the bricks, the pieces, all the junk that's there that I had to clean off my property, my windows, etc. We have an open pool that I'm surprised and I'm very thrilled that no child has gotten hurt. It's a job site that really, it's something's going to happen. Thank God nothing has happened. No one's gotten hurt. But it's been a mess from the beginning. People have come in there, totally disrespected our beautiful town. I knew the owners very, very well. Matter of fact, my house is 103 years old. I own another house next door at 424. I have historical windows. I'm well aware of that. Thank you for presenting the window situation to me. But I find in no way that whoever's building this house is working with you or working with the community in any way to make us happy and welcome as a neighbor. It's been a total slap in the face, especially to the Linden people and to me specifically, because my home is, I'm east of it. In other words, I'm not an architect to explain everything to you. I'm right there and I'm looking at this monstrosity and all these things going on. And also the framing that's there is very, very dangerous. A lot of it is loose. I don't know if there's open electric or not. There's mounds and piles of dirt that's piled all over the place. There's remnants of brick, and it flies all over the place during the storm. As far as rain and things, where the water's going to go, I have no idea. Find lack of planning. I was very disappointed upon watching the last video because I realized that the owner was not working with you. And I'm very pleased with the board. You know what you're doing. But we do have a really big problem in this gorgeous town because of this development that they're trying to build no way fits, or are they working with us or being polite and nice? We want to welcome him, but I'm not welcoming him now because this, you know, it's really been very difficult for me. Very, very difficult for me as well as my neighbors. Okay, so I would love to hear from anybody. Ask me questions, call me. Let's keep our community in the right way, and hopefully the builder will do things correctly and get a permit and get approval and agreement with everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I just want to address one of your things. You realize I'm going to address some of your comments.
Yes.
This is a construction site, so you're going to have what you're considering debris
Nothing
and
has
things.
been removed.
But it is a construction site. So most of them are sloppy, and you have
I
things
also do
out.
building, I'm very well aware of
Yeah.
that, sir, but nothing has been taken out of there. You have a fire hazard, there's wood, there's mounds and mounds of pile and dirt, and it flies all over the place. You go there, it's like giant molehills. Nothing's been taken out. It hasn't been built and hasn't been done correctly.
Okay, no, you're correct on this. If the wind is blowing some of the debris, you
All
can't
into
have
my
that.
property as well as my neighbors.
Is there a dumpster there?
I don't think so anymore. I don't believe so, no. And I haven't walked on the property or anything, but I do not believe that there is a big dumpster there anymore. Maybe the neighbors would know.
Well, what about the owner? I think you
I
said
don't
the
know the
owner's
We
here?
should try to focus on just the architectural
Yeah.
review board.
Correct.
pictures,
I'm just-
Because these
I'm
are
just-
issues
mounds
for the
and
building
piles
department,
of
and we're not
debris
gonna
and
solve
dirt.
anything.
Okay.
It's
So when you're
this
coming
board's
up,
jurisdiction.
the neighbors brought it to our attention, when you're driving for the holiday and you're coming up and people are visiting, you go over our beautiful bridge, you see this big mess.
Okay,
You can't miss it.
so, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public? Oh, I know, I just wanted to stop that.
Hi, thank you. I'm Victoria Schneps, and I own the house at 15 Linden Lane. And I just want to support my neighbors in their concerns about this eyesore that's going up, but I do think also a danger spot. And I don't know which department is in charge of this, but that they allow this pool to be open, that if some children wander onto the property, this could be a death sentence. And I think that the fact that we have had to live all these months because of the delays and the fact that the owner is not responding and giving you anything different meant that the debris, which is a construction site,
Okay,
has caused great harm to us.
Yeah, can I stop you for a second? Look, that you can go right down to the building department. It's on the first floor as you enter to the left, and you can put in a complaint there about the debris or
The hazardness.
what?
But really, the concern would be the hazardness. There you go.
Yeah, well, that's in the building area.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We appreciate your sensitivity to the historic district, which we adore and respect, and appreciate your helping us get this right.
Okay, thank you.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, if you want to come
During
up.
this series, when this all started, I called code enforcement a few times to illegal working on Sunday, pool, all these things that were going wrong. And basically, we don't have enough help. There's only so much we could do, and no one's guilty till they're proven guilty. So code enforcement wasn't helping us in every way, and this could have been stopped, I think, way beforehand, I believe. I tried. I called 3 times.
Excuse me if I may. I appreciate your comments, but that's not something that we're going to discuss
No,
at this
I
forum.
understand.
But I do appreciate where you're coming from.
I absolutely reported and said, hey, I even threw people off my property. They were there on Sunday
Yeah.
putting illegal trees up.
Right.
No, the comments, one thing the board secretary spoke to me about, your comments are noted, and since this is publicly viewed,
Yes.
it's on the record. So,
But I did call, but unfortunately,
Okay.
we didn't get any help.
right, thank you very much. Is there was someone else that wanted to, would you come up?
Hi there.
Hi.
I'm Ursula Lynch. I'm at 380 Main, and I talked the last time about the monstrosity of the size of this building. And the more I look at these, they remind me of a building that I saw in Switzerland, and these were barracks for the Swiss military. They were avalanche-proof, and they were built so strong. My other issue is that the building site has been left a debris mess, and I'm concerned for environmental. This was a very old house that was demolished with materials that are not used anymore and are probably outlawed by now. They are sitting there. It rains on it, it goes right into our groundwater. This is a dangerous situation for our environment besides all the other things that were mentioned, the wind and this.
Right.
And my good neighbor who is living right next to it made a picture, and this is what it looks like, and people are stopping me in my front yard and on social occasions said, what is going on in your neighborhood?
Right, well, we can't address this. This goes to the code enforcement and building department.
Okay,
Uh,
now hold on.
If I may, you should take that picture and go straight downstairs and
Will do.
Right.
go from
Maybe
there.
you just want to pass it around so you see what this
Yeah.
looks like.
We drive by it often.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of us drive by it and are a little familiar with it.
Okay, those are my comments.
So, but
Thank you.
Mrs. Lynch, I appreciate your comment because I didn't realize it, but you're exactly correct. This looks like the Swiss military barracks. You know, and yeah, avalanche proof. We don't have avalanches here. So, okay. Somebody, yes.
Good day, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm George Lynch. I live with my wife, Ursula Lynch, at 380 Main Street. That's just 2 doors away from this structure. I'm being charitable in calling it a structure. I'll try not to go over things that have been discussed already. One thing that caught my ear, though, was when the and I hope I've got this right, and the gentleman representing the applicant said that the windows, the horizontal windows, are set where they are in order to catch light. And I presume that he means to catch light, over the screening, the evergreen screening that's going to be in there. And I guess my response is, if you are going to build that high and that close to the street such that you need high evergreen screening, then, catching light is your problem, not the problem of the neighborhood, which has to be exposed to something which is utterly not harmonious. I want to focus on something that, this hearing is not just about what's been discussed thus far. I mean, as my wife and others have said, it's not just about how it's going to look at the end when it's done. It's about also how it looks right now, which is a horror. I think we all agree to that. It's also not just about those of us who are the near neighbors of it, those who have, pitched in at this point. This is about Quiog, all of Quiog. This is not a place set off on some side street where it can't be seen. It's on Main Street, and it can be seen by everyone going in and out of Quiog. And by the way, it's one of the few routes in and out of Quiog.
Well, can I stop you for a second?
Yes, sir.
What you're addressing, this board does address in its review. We don't only look at one in particular structure. We look at the surrounding structures.
Of course you do.
We look at the neighborhood, and then we look at the district.
Indeed, and we appreciate
Yes.
that. And we
So-
appreciate the work this board has done on this project and indeed all of the work
Mr.
that the board
Jankowski
does.
has spoken with me, and he's traveled to that site, I don't know how many times.
I quite understand.
And-
I'm not just talking about it being about all of Quiog in the sense of what the housing looks like, and this place is obviously not harmonious with the rest of it. I'm talking about, it's about the rest of Quiog in the sense of what citizen resident reaction is going to be. As I say, these folks are going back and forth on Main Street all the time. It's not set up Linden Lane. It's set flat out there in everybody's face on Main Street. And over the years, for various reasons, I have become acquainted with a great number of people in Quiog. Indeed, last night I was just going over a list I have, and there wouldn't be any trouble in getting 25, 30, 40 signatures on the bottom of a letter to this board, basically protesting. I don't think that's at all necessary. I suspect you all know how the people of Quiog feel. But I just want to go on record as saying it's not just the few people you see here, the near neighbors. It's the whole community. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Was there
Any
anybody
board
on
member?
Zoom?
What?
Was there anybody on
I
Zoom?
think there was
Yeah,
somebody
I
on
asked.
Zoom.
Yeah, we have one person on Zoom.
One person still.
Okay. 1.5 people on it, exactly. 2.
Kevin, is there somebody on Zoom?
Trying to bring them in now.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
My name is Patricia Prentice, and I'm just asking if the board was able to see and review photos that I took of the entire property, which can help any dispute between the applicant, what the applicant says is there versus what is actually there, that was sent on April 4th to Carrie Meyer. Did any of you see any of those photos? Did that email, I had to send it in several pieces because the photos were so large.
Yeah, because I remember some that you sent us, but that was in April.
Well, nothing has
Yeah.
changed since April, and a picture is worth 1,000 words. When an applicant says that trees are there at a certain height, or driveways are there, or whatever an applicant says, if you can actually see the property right in front of you, you can determine if in fact that's actually what's there.
Okay. Does that conclude your comments?
Yes, it does.
Okay, thank you very much. Any board member wish to make any comments at this point? If not, I'm just going to make some comments. This is about the third time we've gone over this where the drawings don't match the renderings. Before you come back to this board, I suggest that you get the drawings to match renderings, and you read all reports, because this was, Ms. Meyer, this report from landmarks and historic districts was forwarded to them.
Was forwarded to.
The applicant, I think.
There was somebody else that used to handle this application. And he just
Okay.
recently told me he's no longer on it.
Okay, so that's,
Didn't make its way to me, but it will.
yeah, it didn't make its way. Can you now send?
I also made copies.
Okay, you can pick up a copy, and I suggest that the neighbors pick up a copy too on this. You've heard all our comments. There's no reason to go over it or summarize it, because I assume you've written almost everything down. Yeah, me too. And are there any further comments from you on this?
Let me just check with you.
Okay, fine.
Telling you, it's gonna be.
I didn't realize it, but I've seen this in Switzerland many times, because they build it for avalanche proof. That's Switzerland? Go mountain climbing. Mont Blanc is good. Yeah, and Mont Blanc is in France, and the Matterhorn is in Switzerland. I would do Mont Blanc first, then.
Hi,
Yes.
Mr. Dunn, who's the engineer and architect.
Yeah.
Just wanted the record to show
Can you
that.
speak louder, please?
Sure. Mr. Dunn, who is the engineer and designer, wanted to make clear on the record that he submitted a extensive report, he tells me, to the Architectural Review Board, and was told there was no reason that they had to go back then.
Wait, I'm sorry, just clarify, I'm just trying to understand.
That there was no reason to what?
This
That's from the historics.
from the start, he went to these guys and gave them.
Right, they didn't actually have to go to the landmarks board because this is not a landmark structure.
Right.
And it's not in a historic district, but it is in the Hamlet Heritage Resource Area. So that's why the ARB had a referral, and they asked the landmarks board to give them a recommendation. And the ARB can ask the other boards for recommendations.
And we submitted a copy of the report that I wrote. Historic.
Well, the point of this is just to make it clear that we weren't trying to avoid dealing with historic issues. But we're here, so we're here. So,
Okay. All right, so therefore, there's so many questions, there's no reason to vote on this at all. I mean, you're gonna have to come back with corrected drawings. And however, the project progresses, yeah.
Okay. I pride myself on catching things on plans, and I apologize, I didn't catch the two-window, one-window.
Right. So, okay.
All
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks for the
Do you wanna
input
s-
from the public.
Do you want to schedule this or put this on for a hearing? We can do most of what, I think, if they're going to.
Well, Ms. Meyer will contact you.
Okay.
When it'll go on.
Okay.
Because it depends on how many applicants are on and et cetera.
And it depends on how much the applicant wants to do.
Right, I mean, we don't know.
20th.
We don't know when you're ready.
Yes.
So that's another thing.
We will tell you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the public. Is there any further business to come before the board? If not, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Second. Motion to adjourn.
Motion has been made to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Seconded. Aye. Opposed?